I want to welcome everybody to this new year of our church service. There is one word that comes into my consciousness right now that is the power that you're going to take this word into this year with our intentions and our visions and our things. And that word is not just a word. It's a word filled with inspiration and motivation and power. And that word is yes! So we have the power, the God-given power within us to call in right now all those teachers and saints and spirit that is tender in our heart, that calls to our heart. Bring that power of their love, of their consciousness, of their wisdom, of their magnetism into this room right now. And feel it. It's here in this moment of now. Visualize it. Allow it to fill you. Fill every particle of your being with this life force, this energy, this illuminating energy. Believe in it, that it is here, this very moment, in this very breath we breathe, so that we can be the change we want to see in this world. And this is a year where it is much needed. And for us to utilize every day of our lives this God-given power to create a heaven on this earth through spiritual practice, a supportive community, and selfless service. Om. Last evening, I was using the power of my visualization. That is the topic of the day. And calling on Spirit for inspiration to offer today. And it didn't come right away, so I called all the louder. I cried all the louder in my heart. It gave me an inspiration to start this day. And I walked into another room, and I happened to glance at a book. And I opened this book, which was and is The Divine Romance by Paramahansa Yogananda. And the page I opened up to exactly was the title, Controlling Your Destiny. And it was a talk that Paramahansa Yogananda gave for the new year. So I'm going to read a few parts of this work, since that is what has come through to be spoken right now. With the beginning of the new year, let us, with concentrated resolve and spiritual determination, enter into a new era of our lives. May it be a year of greatest communion with Thee, the giver of all gifts. There is nothing to fear. Link every state of the mind with God. It is only when the wave separates itself from the ocean, that it feels isolated and lost. Think constantly of your connection with eternal life, and you shall know your identity with the Supreme Eternal One. The one thing that will help to eliminate world suffering more than money, homes, or any other material aid is to meditate and transmit to others the divine consciousness of God that we feel. Every day radiate His consciousness to others. Try to understand God's plan for humankind to draw all souls back to Himself and work in harmony with His will. The mind is the miracle of all miracles that God has created. We do not see the fine mechanisms of the mind. Almighty power lies therein. The kingdom of your destiny and its creator is yourself. We must seek union of our consciousness with God's consciousness. When we have that, our prayers will not be waylaid. Never pray for anything of this world until you have first prayed successfully to know God. Pray until you have attained God. Then your prayers will be guided by wisdom, not by the inclination of habits. Do not fool yourself. Wake up and say to God, I will forsake all lesser desires. I yearn only to know Thee. Of course, you should pray for others who are suffering, but do not pray for things of the world until, through deep meditation and love for God, you feel your identity with Him. He knows what you need. Seek Him until you find Him, until the whole being throbs with His power and glory. Ask the divine to reveal Himself to you. Do not rest until He answers. Ask with all your heart again and again, reveal Thyself to me. The stars may be shattered, the earth may be dissolved, yet my soul shall cry unto Thee, reveal Thyself to me. The inertia of His silence will be broken by the steady, persistent hammerings of your prayers. At last, like the invisible earthquake, He will suddenly make Himself manifest. The walls of silence holding back the reservoir of your consciousness will tremble and crumble, and you will feel that you are flowing like a river into the mighty ocean. And you will say to Him, I am now one with Thee. Wherever Thou hast, the same have I. You will be consciously face to face with yourself, your pure self at last. The auditorium of your mind will be crowded to overflowing with the holy guests of your own divine thoughts. Beggars of grief and discord and pain will not be able to enter there, and their wails and sighs will be drowned in the harmony of an ever-singing and never-weary choir of happiness and peace. Boom. Amen. That was a message for the new year from Paramahansa Yogananda that we wanted it to be read. There was words of Jesus that said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things will come unto thee that you need." And this is the same thing with visualizing and manifesting on into our power, into our future, to make sure that we are carrying with us at the same time the wisdom, the consciousness of our true self, of our pure self, to sit on that throne within us, that seat within us, and to be the guide of our desires and of our manifestations and our visualizations. Just as that picture that those that were in class of, that was a story of the Bhagavad Gita, where the 5 sense horses were out, and the reins holding those horses is your mind, but sitting on the seat of the chariot of your body, right at the center of the soul, was the pure self, the Krishna, the Christ consciousness, was holding the reins of the mind with the desires of the 5 senses. And behind that seat was our true nature, the Arjuna, or our warrior self, going to go forth in the journey of life. And this is a good image or visualization to remember as we go forth with the power we have, the God-given power to be a co-creator in this creation for the good of all. I wanted to just bring up a little story from my personal life from a long time ago. When I was in high school, and there was a moment that was happening in my life then. It was probably near the time of 1969, and there was something stirring in me that was waking up, and it wasn't what I was perceiving in my life at that moment. There was nothing like it, and I was longing for it more and more. I didn't quite have enough of a vision to grasp what it was, but I was feeling it big time. And I remember one day, and I grew up in New York, and I walked into a small, it was a needlepoint store, and I didn't do needlepoint, but I was longed to go in there. And on the wall, there was this huge needlepoint that you could do that had a picture of a painting from a French artist called the Angelus, and it was something I had to get because it brought a memory of something that I was trying to visualize, and I needed that vision board in front of me to add to it. And what it was, if anyone doesn't know, it was a man and a woman facing each other, and a basket of potatoes on the ground between them. And they bowed down like in gratitude. It was going out, it was in the evening, I guess, because they already harvested the foods. And it was just a moment of gratitude. And the sky was gorgeous. And so I told the lady, I said, I'm going to buy that. And she said, did you ever do needlepoint? I said, no. She goes, well, why don't you start with this little cat face? And I said, no, I want that one. That was my favorite word. I needed it. And so something like that, yet didn't know what it was. And then, of course, around that time, probably everybody remembers the song that came out, John Lennon's Imagine. Well, that was my mantra. Those words in there, I knew I had to grasp that, to know. It was my affirmation to imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. I needed that, a place where there was peace, and there was no greed, no hunger, a place of working together with people. That was my affirmation and mantra, along with my vision board, and I knew I had to find it. And I was still in school. I had to finish my schooling, but I still came home, still kept it going, repeated. I say, I know it's somewhere. I know it. It'll grow in me. So the long story short, it was probably 6 years later or 7 years later that I had an opportunity to go across country. And my map was my vision board. I took it with me. I didn't really do the needlepoint, I just took it with me. And I sang my affirmation. I knew somewhere something would happen. And my map led me to Sunburst. And I was so grateful that this was real. This was really what I was seeing and starting to visualize. I didn't bring it into manifestation, but it manifested and it found me, and that was a powerful way of using the gift of our power with our vision and keeping it going, and don't get discouraged if it takes so much time. And it brought me to think about Norm as a child. He came into this world with just an extended awareness of knowing and feeling that there was a presence, a power, a love, a personal God somewhere that he had to get his hands on. He felt this power. He knew it. He was remembering it from last lives, and he was thirsting for it at a very young age. And it took him time as he became to go through his years of childhood. And when he reached 17 years old, he had lost his mother. And that brought such a moment of grief into his life, and the longing all the more to be able to be hugged by the divine mother of the universe that he knew existed. And he brought that power into his consciousness and worked it and wouldn't let any thought stop him. And it led him to the door of Paramahansa Yogananda's hermitage of self-realization fellowship. And he became a direct disciple for 5 years with Paramahansa Yogananda, where he received tools of meditation to be able to work and be able to experience and have that opening of his consciousness into the infinite expanding ocean of God's consciousness, and to have that experience that he so longed for all his life. And he was initiated into the Kriya Yoga by Paramahansa Yogananda, that we have the gift today to continue to offer that same essence, that same seed energy of that giving, of that offering. And Paramahansa Yogananda at that time also began to speak of the environment and how important it was to find supportive communities, because not everyone's karma was to become a monk or a nun and be a renunciant that way. But Norm knew in his time at that monastery, to be a monk at those years, that wasn't his full calling for his life. He knew he was to be a householder. and he still loved God immensely. And so he was drawn to that vision of Yogananda, planting that seed into that field of power, because it wasn't the time then to consider having spiritual communities of men, women, and children. It just wasn't time for that. But Norm had that, and when he received that, he began seeing that vision in his mind's eye of seeing a community and seeing people coming, a place for people to be able to meditate and support each other's growth and still balance it with family life and growing family, and still balancing it with working your work toward your own God or self-realization. And for Norm, it took him time. It actually took 20 years before that vision of Paramahansa Yogananda began to manifest, not only through Norm's vision, but other disciples at that time also began to create different communities that are still happening today. But all started with that seed energy that Paramahansa put into the field of power, and that sprung. And here we are today in that manifestation. And here is Sunburst going on to its 55th year anniversary of keeping it going. And what's keeping it going is that same power of planting seeds into the infinite sea of consciousness with visualization continually, with your heart, your devotion, your emotion, giving it all you've got to keep this vision going from one generation to another. For the goodness, for the awakening of consciousness to help with ourselves, the awakening, and the awakening of this planet that is so needed today. You don't have to look too far to see the suffering that's happening here on this planet. And we can do a work. We have each other to plant that seed into the field of power with the help of a supportive community, with a meditation practice, and to manifest our dreams. In Sunburst, with these years of being together, we also, for those that take an extra step of commitment on being of service to help move this mission on into the future, we have what's called a council, and it meets twice a month. And the intent of that council from 55 years ago to now was a place where we sit and give all our attention and discipline and power to visualize, even in color, and to visualize an intent that we want to plant into the seed of power that's all around us, this ocean of God's presence, this vibration of life itself. And we plant it and we water it with our repetition of visualizing it. And this is what has kept, to this day, Sunburst alive and healthy and going forward into the future, where we visualize and project with conscious awareness into the field of power with amplified life force, that vision we want to see. We bring all our heart, mind, and emotion into it with feeling and all the senses working to bring it alive. And this, I believe, is our saving grace that has helped us all these years through many, many challenges and gifts. So we want to ask now ourselves, how can we use this power, this God-given gift of visualization into our daily life? So many people at this time of life, of the year, of New Year's, makes all these visualized resolutions of what the year's going to be and what they're going to do and what they're going to walk into. And for the most part, it lasts about 3 weeks, and then it's forgotten. So what can we do to fire that intention, to keep it alive? Muhammad Ali's famous quote was, "If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it." But it takes work. It takes discipline. It takes being present, conscious, here, right now. Because if we don't stay in the present moment in our life, who takes over is our subconscious habits that maybe we don't want anymore in our life, that may discourage us or distract us, cause us to fear, to worry, to bring up all these things that can distract us. But it takes being in this moment of awareness, of consciousness, to catch it coming to the surface. That complaint, that doubt, that fear, that worry, that judgment, that whatever, discouragement, and you can catch it. Don't give it life. Plant a healthy habit in its place. It takes practice. It takes discipline, but it is possible. How many times have you been in a situation where you're doing your work or you're doing something and it doesn't work out exactly as you planned, or you're doing something that somebody else should have done and you have to clean it up? Can we do that with just the awareness of doing it as a work, as a service? Or do we hear what's coming out from the subconscious of complaint, pissed off, or bummed, or where blah, blah, blah? That's what we grab. Don't give it energy. Plant the power of a positive seed. You don't know why it came like that. It was maybe a work for you to challenge this in yourself and catch it so that you can work on it and grow and be your power. Because these are the blocks that are blocking our power. So we want to work on, we want to become aware of those things, those judgments or whatever that we all have, and plant a new thought, a power thought, a new thought to manifest. But it does take work, so let's not give up or give away from that. So the first thing of good practice is just waking up in the morning, first thing in the morning. Right as you wake up. I know I have a habit sometimes of keeping my phone right there because it's my alarm, but it's also my message and my emails, everything else. But to have a habit, start right then, that the first thing you do in that fertile moment is pause and visualize, see for yourself what it is you want to do, what goal you want to meet that day. Give it life, give it passion. Apply yourself into it, walk into it, feel it, give it emotion, and then be calm with it and work it. Use your senses, put feeling and emotion into your image that you want to manifest. Use positive affirmations, such as I use that song, Imagine. Use positive affirmations, whatever it is. Keep them in the present. Keep it alive and let it be repetitive. And say good words to yourself. You know how sometimes we can get mad at ourselves and say mean things to ourselves? Just watch it, be aware of it, and change it. Put something good in its place. And to repeat your visualizations, even during your work hours, something that you really want to manifest. It takes willpower. It takes motivation. It takes stirring the fire of our life force to move these things into manifestation. This is the way it all started. Before creation, before there was even any thought, in that peace, in that joy, in that ocean of bliss, of consciousness, unmanifest spirit moved with a thought, visualized an image to create. Let there be light. Wanted to see the images of a creation. And we're all part of this dream of God. We were made in that image to co-create. The power of a thought, to visualize it, to manifest it. And most of all, the transforming power of meditation in the morning and evening, where you come face to face with the original power behind all visualizations and manifestations. Let there be light. So let us turn up the life force, our motivation, amplify your awareness, and keep your brain from wandering from thought to thought. Be present. That's how you do it. You don't get down on yourself. Every thought needs energy. Be aware of that thought and come present again in this here and now, this moment where the magic is, where the power is, where the magnetism is, where we can call in the power from our teachers, our saints, from Divine Spirit to be with us at this moment now. It is here, wanting to be with us, live in us, work through these senses, work through us. Patty Paulsen stated, divine intervention is inspiration. Inspiration excites imagination. Imagination seeds the future, and the future becomes visible in time. How do we know what images to put forth to appear in the future? By opening our limited imagination to the ocean of God's divine will and imagination. We have to feel it. We have to reach for it. We have to meditate on it. So we're going to now go into some meditation. So let us prepare our seats for this power to come into us. And I'm quite sure we all have an intention or visualization for this new year. So let us put it in our forefront, in our heart, and we place it on the altar of our heart. And we place it in the center of this consciousness of this room, the consciousness within us. So as we sit upright, let us just scan our body to stay relaxed. Be relaxed. Consciously relax the muscles of your body from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Release and relax. And connect with your breath. Feel the sensation of the inhaling breath and the exhaling breath. Relax the facial muscles. Relax your eyes, your eyelids. Place the gaze of your eyes at that point, right in between the eyebrows, out a little bit into the space and feel the power. Open your heart, open your mind, open the door on the crown of your head, and be here now as we meditate for about 15 minutes. in the stillness of my mind, I can feel you. I can hear you. Pressing in upon you. Reveal thyself to me, O Lord. Reveal thyself to me. Reveal thyself to me. I will cry out with all my heart, with all my soul longing, with all my passion and life force. Reveal thyself to me, my beloved, my Lord. I'd like to end the service with this writing by Patty Paulsen, our founder of Sunburst. The whole creation is God's imagination made visible, including ourselves, these bodies. When we become aware of this life force within and around us, we begin to receive divine imagination, the creative will of God. Yes, our imagination will become a reflection of the Holy One. By using inspired imagination, we can create mental images or thought forms. Observing them to be rooted in virtue, we can spin them into the field of power and life force surrounding us. They, like seeds, will take root and will appear in time and space in the future. The shortening of the time of their appearance is called by some miracles. This is the seeding and the sowing of images desired. The appearance of these images in form is the reaping. It will manifest forth from the field of power. As the whole of creation has come forth from the divine author, it is the only perfect poem by the only perfect author. We must use this gift of visualization and projection that we may become co-creators and put forth images in thought forms that will become a reflection of the divine perfect poem and order surrounding us. Before ending we have a few more songs to sing. Let us take this moment to just chant on our own, no timing or anything, of about 8 ohms together. Just be able to all use this vibration, this energy, to just feel that vibration of spirit awakening all the more within us with life force and love and presence and magnetism to be able to do the work we came here to do.
dreamy, filled with your light. Dream me, sharing your love, love of mine, dreamer of all. In your arms of love I aspire to fall. Dream me, filled with your light. Dream me, sharing your love, light of my life, dreamer of me. Your dreams have created all that I see. Dream me, filled with your light. Dream me, sharing your love. Dearest friend,